It's worth saying, and I've already been in the centre of town this morning. There's diversions in the streets. There's roads have closed. There's security and lots of police around. Really big preparations for the public, I think, to come out and in the streets and see the coffin, the Queen's coffin as it arrives in Edinburgh. Also, big giant preparations for the world's media to turn out outside the Scottish Parliament. There's a great platform being built. There's camera positions all over the place. The same up outside St Giles and on the Castle Esplanade. So what happens is really the focus of attention moves away from you in Balmoral. There will be a long, slow drive really across towards, I think, Aberdeen and down the east coast across the Queensferry Bridge into Edinburgh itself. It's expected, I think, to start at 10 in the morning and arrive in Edinburgh about 3:30 in the afternoon. So it's really, there's a transition from all of the attention being in that Highland estate in Balmoral where you are, which has been, the centre of huge and significant events this week, the Queen passing, the passing in another sense of one Prime Minister and the transition to a new one. And now the focus moves to Edinburgh. After tomorrow, on Monday, King Charles III will be in Edinburgh. There will be a service in St Giles as the Queen, having rested in Holyrood Palace, is brought to St Giles. The public will be able to pay their respects. They will, as I say, also be out in the streets to do that. And then I think on Tuesday, the plan had been to take the Queen to London by royal train, but that is no longer the case. It will go to Edinburgh Airport, fly to London, and on Wednesday, I think it initially goes to Buckingham Palace on Tuesday, and then the Queen's body is transferred to Westminster, the Great Hall, I think, and will lie in state, I think, for 4 days, all running up to the state funeral on the 19th.
Now, I suppose, what you were saying there, John, about just the significance of all of this happening in or starting in Scotland, certainly. I mean, that is notable, and that is something that we've considered on the programme in the last couple of days. But then let's add to that what King Charles said in his address last night. One of those aspects was about passing on his Scottish titles to Prince William. What does that mean? What's he talking about there?
Look, there is, you could have a university degree looking at royal titles in Scotland. Currently, of course, well, before he became King Charles, Prince Charles was the Duke of Rothesay. He was also the Duke of Edinburgh following the passing of Prince Philip. Prince Andrew is currently the Earl of Inverness. Prince Edward's the Earl of Forfar. So all of these titles now look as if some have changed already. Prince William, as well as being known as the Prince of Wales, and he's keeping his Cambridge title, he's keeping his Cornwall title, but he's also now become the Duke of Rothesay. We think Prince Edward may become the new Duke of Edinburgh, and so on and so forth. All of these titles change. And of course, there is the very interesting situation of which there's been much comment, I think, already about Prince Archie, as he will now be called, because he's the son of a monarch. Therefore, he's entitled to be styled as a prince.
It's really fascinating, isn't it, how it all transpires. I suppose as well then, John, just as a final consideration, I suppose, when is the time to consider the new monarch's role in Scotland, King Charles, and whether there will be a similar view of him as there was for Queen Elizabeth II, and indeed a similar view of the kind of royal family as an institution as a whole? Does that change, do you think, in Scotland's context?
Look, all these situations will evolve. We've gone from a situation where the Queen, so highly respected, she took over as a 25-year-old in the 1950s. And look here we are. She's passed away at 96. The world has changed and evolved, and the royal family's changed and evolved. We see King Charles III. He's 73 years old. He's entering a different world, a different context, and I think all of that role will evolve. What happens in Scotland? Look, the proof at the end of the day will be in the pudding. At the end of the day, as we've said before, the Queen of Scots, hugely respected in Scotland, maybe the future of the monarchy will be talked about and questioned, particularly in the context of the independence debate. But, even the Scottish National Party, I've been very surprised. There is a Republican tendency within the Scottish National Party, but it's all been very muted in the past few days. If there is an independent Scotland, the Scottish National Party have said that the monarch will remain the head of state. So let's see how it pans out. It's a new king, it's new times, and things change and evolve. And the remarkable thing, I think, and it's fair to say this, is that over the centuries, over the last 70 years, with the Queen, the monarchy has had that great ability not just to survive, but to evolve and to change with the challenges of the time.